the kid that we got from Texas in the slot that's killing everybody. That's Jimmy Horn. That's LeJounte.
Oh, but it's just Colorado defensive backs. Colorado has been notorious for their wide receiver room, probably in the last 2 seasons, but it seems like they're not really getting talked about in the same way this year. And I think that's for a good word. I think it's more because all the talent that's been perceived at the college football level. You got your Ohio State, your Auburns, your Clemson, which is my personal favorite. Alabama's all over where, hey, don't sleep on those Longhorns, but I'm telling you, you can't sleep on Colorado either. But I think the big reason so many people are, maybe skeptical or don't have them in such high regards is because it's built up of a lot of newcomers, whether that be transfers or young guys. But I have a lot of confidence in these transfer young guys. So we're gonna go over probably one of the more underrated. I'm not gonna label it the best or the top 5. I don't think it's a top 5 wide receiver room, but Colorado has to be at this point the most underrated wide receiver room. So as it sits, April 30th, I don't think there's any more changes. Yeah, no. So this one's with the transfer portal closed, right? You have Sincere Brown, like a 6'9". He's not 6'9". He's a tall dude. That as a transfer. Joseph Williams, who we're going to talk about in this video, out of Tulsa. You got Cam Michael, Hakeem Williams, a transfer, 6'5" guy out of FSU. Isaiah Harge, who's been on the team for a good 2-3 years. Draylon Miller, true freshman who made an impact last year. Marian Miller, both of the Millers we're going to be talking about this video. Caleb Mathis, Quinton Gibson, an impact freshman coming out of Texas. He was a Max Prep. What's it called? Player of the year in high school. Oh, I'm putting you the wrong way. He was a Max Preps a player of the year coming out of high school out there in Texas. So there's a lot of high expectations from him as well. Terrell Timmons, who's been already making a name for himself. Quanell Farrakhan, another true freshman who's I think going to be able to make an impact. Target Barden, Carson Westbrook, Gavin Marsh, and Mr. Ronald Coleman. So I think it's quite the stacked lineup. But what does this really mean, and what does it mean in general? And I just want to point out some things before we go too far, because Deion does often let us know before these things happen, right?
I don't follow my kids.
And this
I
is
take roads for my kids.
This is alluding to the journey that he's been on, and a lot of people alluded to him leaving, right, going away from Colorado. A lot of people in my comments are still talking about how he's going to leave with that new contract. I don't know.
I build generational wealth for my kids. I lead my kids. I don't follow my kids. So I do not plan on following my kids to the NFL. But I'm thankful, I'm glad that you already pretty much put them in the NFL. That means you believe in them wholeheartedly. But I'm not that kind of father. I have work to do here. I absolutely love it here. It's beautiful here, especially yesterday it was. Knowing this weather is going to be beautiful tomorrow because we have no commitments on the field. So I'm serious. I absolutely love it here, man. I really do. And I would never think a young brother from the South would really love it in this part of the country, but I really do. At SAP, we talk about it every day. He's driving up to the mountain doing things and just taking pictures and love the snow and texting me with all the stuff they send him on Instagram for the different retreats.
All right, we're getting into old head, yeah.
The frequent that are beautiful. So we love it. I would love to be a little more adventurous and go see other things. Like I want to go to the hot springs things. Is the water really hot?
All right. This is a man, by the way. I'm cutting him off. There's only 40 more seconds of this video. I'm cutting him off. My point of this video was to show you that not only is he bringing in this plethora of wide receivers, I don't want you to think he's bringing them in and just cutting. Clearly, he's bringing them in and wants to stay for the hot springs and is enjoying Colorado. This is a man that just got paid. You can see that boy got bezels in the hat. He's going over talking about how amazing Colorado is. Hey, that's a man that got paid knowing what it is. And as Stacy pointed out, I don't want to move past it. I don't want to move past it because Stacy made a really good point about Hakeem Williams. He's not a part of this video, a wide receivers that we're going to talk about. But he did call out Travis Hunter to go to FSU to have like one of the worst seasons in FSU history and then come on over to Colorado. So shout out to Stacy in the live chat. But 3 wide receivers we're going to talk about, and 2 of them count as one because they are the Millers. We got the Millers and Draylon and Marian Miller. These are our returners that we're going to talk about. Not returners like, punt return, but returners as these are 2 guys that are, if you're follow the Colorado Buffaloes you know about. And then you got Quinton Gibson, who I think is going to be one of the better stories coming into this year, specifically for true freshmen. And then Mr. Joseph Williams, transfer out of Tulsa, who has been making an immediate impact for Colorado. So why do I think this Colorado football team is underrated? Maybe because gosh darn true freshmen showing up like this.
They say you getting ready like you playing a game. They say you look like you getting ready to play a game.
That's how you supposed to go.
They got that copyright music, dog. Wow. Oof. Now, Quinton Gibson, dog. You talk about explosion. There's Joseph Williams. Wow, that's crazy. Obviously, he's not the tallest dude. I think he's 5'8", but still, the explosion's there. He did major things at the high school level. Obviously, won a state title, and no, not anywhere, but he won it in Texas, right? 4-star commit. Some people say 3-star. Now, hey, sorry, 5'9". I'm gonna give him 5'9". You know, and people like to play. They were playing funny with his stars, but it don't matter because I don't know how you're a Max Preps Player of the Year on a clearly championship winning team, right? You do this in the state championship. Well, not in the state championship, but you have these accolades of 93 receptions, 2,000 yards, 39 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Some people say best receiver in the country. Clearly the best receiver in Texas because Max Preps felt that way. Quinton Gibson, 2024 Max Preps Texas High School Player of the Year. Again, guys, he didn't win Player of the Year in Wisconsin. No disrespect to Wisconsin. Actually, they got some corn-fed boys over there, okay? All right, he didn't win it. He didn't win Player of the Year in Idaho or Massachusetts, even though they got some ballers in Massachusetts. Shout out to y'all. He won it in Texas, the mecca of football. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how that's a 3 to 4-star. That don't make no sense to me. But here he is doing some work. Again, 3-4-star. This is, if you want to talk about, you know, oh, well, he's 5'9", he's not going against talent. It's All-American, dog. Cooking folks. This ain't no middle of the month. Like this. There is no excuse to be made. And I think the thing that's most glaring to me, dang it, I wish I had that video. Hopefully, maybe I can find it. But you know, when he first committed, Deion Sanders immediately said, "Hey, this is LeJontay Wester. This is Jimmy Horn." And when I watch him, you know, it's not just he's fast and twitchy. It's the contact balance, right? Like Jimmy Horn, where, he can get up to speed and he can get up and get loose too, right? That's beyond important. It's beyond important, not just he can run fast or go fast or he can cut. Nah, he can also keep on his leg. It take a little bit to get him out. That boy high stepping, gapping people, jogging all the way to the end zone. So I hope you know what I'm saying. My name is CFB Teams. I do talk about other, college football teams. I am going to make some Texas videos. I've made Texas videos. People making fun of Arch Manning in my comments. But I make Arch Manning videos. So I know y'all think I'm just a Colorado biased guy. But again, go watch the videos last year. Last year, I was like, I don't know how many, not to say I was a doubter. I just thought that, that team didn't look as good last year. They're only going to look slightly better. But now seeing what I see and now seeing how the talent has been prioritized, these aren't just dudes. These aren't just, we got a good player. No, Deion Sanders went and did something that a lot of people have said Deion Sanders can't do, even though he's done consistently, and that's get some high-level high school talent. I don't know if you know a dude named Julian Lewis, who was a USC commit, top 3 quarterback in the nation at 17-year-old. That was a high school commit. So I think he's going to have an immediate impact, and I think that impact is going to be major. But we have a little interview for all the guys because, Darius Sanders has some good stuff. So let's get a little snippet from Quinton Gibson.
So I wanted it to feel like a family, but I also wanted the experience to go where I wanted to go. And that was Colorado. Yeah. That's what went into my decision. Okay. I got to start all over again and grind from the bottom, work my way back up to the top, because the high school stuff cool, but it don't mean nothing no more when you get to college for real. You got to show them what you got for real. Mm-hmm. Like me, I don't use just speed. Like I got wiggle to me. I got like vision. Like I see the field different from how other people see it. Like I could see a hole. Like most people might not hit it, but like if I see I can fit, like I'm gonna go through there. I'm gonna hit it for real. When Draylon earned one, cause we gonna speak it into existence. When Draylon earned one, I'm going for 6. Yeah.
Hey man, and y'all know how Coach Prime feel about that number one, man. That's such an old school coach mentality. Like the whole like holding on like numbers and stuff, but ain't nothing wrong with that. You know how Coach Prime get down. And here goes. These kids got too much. But anyway, true freshman with the Q6 on, state title, state champion, ain't nothing wrong. Now, let's get into some returning players. Again, if you're a Colorado player or Colorado watcher of foosball, you know about these guys. They've made impacts or are going to make an even greater impact, I'm predicting, coming into this next season. And the Millers, who is that? Marian Miller and Mr. Draylon Miller. Now, two players that have a lot of upside and have already shown in real life football games that they can be game breakers and game changers, right? Marian Miller is such an intriguing name to watch. This is from Andy NFL. Now primed for his first year as the Buffs wide receiver 1, and I do think he's going to be the true wide receiver 1. It's not simply just about, you know, what he does with speed, because he's got it, what he does with hands, what he got it, but it's the subtlety, right? Do you see? He's a complete wide receiver, and there's this effortlessness to him. There's this smoothness to the top of the route. There's a smoothness to what he does with his hands. I mean, this is easy for him, right? He's he's the most tenured wide receiver in the room at this point. Barring any transfer. No, I think even the transfers are young too, because Joseph Williams is another wide receiver we're going to talk about. He's a little different too. He's what's it called? Coming off a freshman year. Oh, dang, that's Colton Hood. That's Colton Hood working against Marian Miller too, by the way. But again, you can see the smoothness, you can see the silkiness. Obviously, this one was quite infamous. The fall down touchdown that he made against Baylor. That was big time. That was huge. And I think that this wide receiver room is built of a bunch of guys that can go up and get the ball. But again, what separates Marian Miller and why I think he's the true number one is going to be this alpha is the command at which he can do it and the body control that he does it with too, right? It's, again, super easy for him, right? Super easy. But now that's tough. That's tough. But you can saw how he went and go, that's iron sharpens iron right there, dog. Iron sharpens iron. Oh, yeah. And then that's that same shot. But again, it's just too easy. The light hands, the everything. I think he's going to be someone that is going to be looked at to be a leader and to add another level of maturity to this game, because he has a maturity in his game on the wide receiver room, in the arts of the game of football, and not just, hey, I'm fast, I'm big, and XYZ. But let's hear what he has to say. He has a few snippets from the Darius Sanders. Y'all make sure y'all go follow him. He does great things. He's going to talk about the first time he got coach started basically by Deion. And then he's going to talk about, if I put it in here, here it is. There was a point where Marian Miller wanted to transfer out. So we're going to watch both of those clips right now.
So when I first got here, like, I'm not even going to lie, like I was nervous, like it's Coach Prime. So I think we had like our first like little 7-on-7 with the ones, and I remember making a play, and like I had blurred one of the DBs, but like after I caught the ball, like I caught the ball and I kind of like stopped and just held the ball like over his head, and I remember Coach Prime was sitting up, like he was on top of the little stairs, and he like yelling my name, so I'm thinking like, oh, he finna tell me like I did a good job. He like, you better never do that again. Always finish her out. I'm like, man. Dang, bro, you could at least like tell me you could catch or something. Like, so from that point forward, like I knew it was like I already knew it was gonna be it was gonna be hard on us. Like I just have to grind it out for sure.
Okay.
Oh wow, okay, that was crazy. And then here's the that other clip there.
I know this is like a two-part. People want to know, how close were you ever to leaving? Was that ever a thought of yours?
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely was. Last year, I didn't touch I don't think like the first 3 games, first 4, like I didn't touch the field probably like only touched the field like out of those first 4 games like twice maybe. And like at that time I was like, bro, like come on now, like I know who I am, you know. Like why am I not getting on the field, you know? Like, but at the time, I had the right people in my corner, and you know, just keep God first, and it was just everything. Like I said, I kept God first, and everything else just gonna fall in place.
I think it's important to know that in the world of college football, right? First off, we don't do that, lame stuff where we like try to like demonize these kids making decisions for the rest of their lives. If he had to transfer, he had to transfer, right? Like it is what it is. As a Texas fan, I know I say I'm a Texas fan. I'm a Colorado fan too. Like that's clear. They were in different conferences. I'm a Colorado fan too. I'm not in the Big 12 anymore. Shout out to my Horns, right? My SEC team over there. I'm clearly a Deion and a follower XYZ. So I'm not going to lie to that. I say all that to say that we're not gonna put these negative connotations on these people making decisions in a world that has allowed them to make that decision, right? The NCAA has set themselves up for situations like that. But in the world of transfer portal, NIL, different things, understand that retaining players is probably the most important thing in the world of the transfer portal, right? If you go look at Ohio State, people joked about, Ohio State, $20 million roster. Give them credit because most of that $20 million or whatever that was spent on that team was spent retaining homegrown talent. That was JT, right? That was Jack Sawyer, right? That's Trey Henderson, right? They never had a flashy quarterback in those last 2 years. They had a dude from K-State, Will Howard, good guy, 6'4", big bad dog, and old McCord, right? Again, not a guy who jumps off the tape, even though I like McCord. I think he's a good quarterback. But you know what I'm saying? So I think that is clear to see that rather, I think it's positive to see that, as much as it's great to have, and that's a crazy thing about college football, as much as that it's great to continue to get good players like Quinton Gibson, like we're going to talk about with Joseph Williams, I think it's even more important to keep the good players that you have. And I think that kind of answers the question of like, man, why is there so many wide receivers in this wide receiver room? But here is Marian Miller. Now, this is another person, if you were just watching football last year, oh my God. If you were just watching the Buffs play football last year, you know what he's about. You know what I'm saying? He was a true freshman last year, and he made contributions any and every time he was able to get on the field. People likened him to Deebo Samuels, right? For the build, he's a little bigger, stalkier, right? Almost like this running back build that can catch the balls and do a lot of different things. And this is what I mean by a dynamic wide receiver room, where you don't just have a bunch of tall guys or a bunch of people who can go up and get the ball or a bunch of people who are just fast, right? You have a lot of guys who do different things, right? Traylon is more so, like I said, utility belt, you know what I'm saying, here and there. And you say all that, but I mean, if you're making catches like that, it's going to be hard for them to keep you off the field. But, he's definitely a utility belt guy who's crafty, right? Though his routes are definitely clean. They can get more and more sophisticated, obviously, as he ages. But I think the fact that he just has a thrive to make plays is the most important thing, right? He wants to be there. He wants to be open. And he wants to, take these plays and make them into bigger things. And I think we're going to continue to see the growth. And shout out to him, obviously. I think it's a dope moment whenever, you let some of the youngins go out there with you for your draft process. So that's dope, him catching that too. All right, let's get into our final wide receiver of the day. Comment down below so far if you've made it this far. Do you think Colorado, from what I've shown you, is an underrated wide receiver room? You don't? Okay. Mr. Joseph Williams out of Tulsa. This dude's a dog. If you haven't been following Colorado, and maybe you don't follow us closely, again, I wish I was just blowing smoke. I wish I was just hyping it up. I do wish I was, but I'm not talking about, notice, I'm not talking about skills that are, because he went against this person. No, I'm talking about one-handed catches, dog. That's what I'm talking about. Against DJ McKinney. Right? I'm not talking about, but it's just Colorado defensive backs. I'm talking about the skills that we're seeing, son. That man, Joseph Williams, he wants to go up and get it. He wants to snag. He only 6'1" now. He only 6'1", but he wants to do it. And here is a few snippets of him. One talking about some of the NIL struggles that he had in Tulsa, and then another story of crazy recruitment. Let's hear this first.
Yep. On my mother. Yeah, I'm drinking. Drake got so much money for you. Now, we're gonna let Joe stack up a little bit. We're gonna let Joe stack.
Oh no, we don't let Joe stack. No,
We can't let Joe stack up.
Joe and Drake been in college the same amount.
No, but that's what there was no bag at Tulsa.
There was no bag.
I was making $250,000 a month.
No, we're not. Next year.
That's what I'm saying. We gotta let Joe stack a little bit. But for now, Dre.
$250 a month. Hey, I hope the NIL better in Colorado. But let's hear an interesting, what's it called, last second recruitment story from old Joseph Williams.
I'm not gonna say the school, but the school made a phone call when I told him I wanted number 8. He said, "Yeah, reserve the number until I said otherwise." And I had the number for him. Well, Coach Prime said I had to come in and earn it. It really got me is he's not going to give me what I want because he knows he has other guys that are good also. So I have to come in and earn everything I get. So with my jersey number, things I need, things I want, stuff like that, he said I have to come in and earn it. He's not going to give it to me. And other schools weren't telling me that.
I'm not going to give you what you want. That was a positive for you.
Yeah, my whole life we didn't live the best. We struggled a little bit. But my mom always taught me never take the easy way out. If you take the easy way out, nothing good is going to come out of it. So hearing him say that, that's all I heard was from my mom. I just heard in my head no easy way outs. And that was just super big for me. He's not gonna give me no handouts. He's gonna help me grow not only as a player but as a man.
I want to speak to that because to the point of consistency, right? Deion Sanders, Jordan Seaton had the same thing to say when he was speaking about what broke it for him to want to go ahead and come to Colorado, and it was that hey, look, everybody else is praising me, but when I talk to Coach Prime, it's hey, this is what you need to get better at, and this is how we're gonna get you better at it, right? So I think that in a world of people saying that this generation is this or that or X, Y, Z, for the rare few that might not be that, right? Who might be dogs, right? For those guys, I think it's important to understand that they value, that dog and other people, and they value being challenged. I don't ever want to hear coaches get on here and say, "Oh, these kids don't whatever, they don't respond." The dogs do, and if you got a bunch of puppies, sorry about it, right? But if you got some dogs like Joseph Williams, like these guys that really hungry for it, I don't know how truthful he is saying he only had $250 a month with that big old 8-ball around his neck. I don't know, but it is what it is. But again, the proof is in the pudding with Joseph Williams. That thing is pixelated, but the proof's in the pudding with him, man. He just goes up and gets it. He just goes up and makes amazing play after amazing play and dogs people one-handed, hands in the face, right? I like to see that. I like to see what them contested catches look like. Boom, right there in the end zone. Boom, against somebody, hands in the face. I think that this is one of the most dynamic wide receiver rooms in all of college football. But hey, you let me know what you think, what you feel, how you think about it. Was I glazing? Was that too much, man? Let me know if there's any other videos you want me to make, man. It's off season. We got plenty to talk about, so holla at me if there's something particular you want to see. Like this video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it, subscribe if you enjoy football content of all shapes, sizes, and forms. We'll see you next time. Continue being great. Peace.